Who is this person in a spaceman-like suit, deeply involved in the 21st running of the National Drag Racing Championships? It is, in fact, a lady, Shirley Cha-Cha Muldowney, and her sport is one of speed. That sometimes turns violent. She's competing in what has been a man's world, dominated by men like Don the Snake Prudhomme and Big Daddy Don Garlits. And for the drag racing fan, this is where it is. Indianapolis Raceway Park, 5 miles west of the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. A perfect drag racing day weather-wise, and a purse of over $300,000 has drawn the sport's best. Men like Big Daddy Don Garlits, Don the Snake Prudhomme, world champion Gary Beck, and a lady, Shirley Cha-Cha Muldowney. 1,200 cars have been entered, each one requiring last-minute adjustments to make them go in this highly technical and complex sport of drag racing. Hello, everyone. I'm Chrissy Konamaki, and today we want to bring the sport of drag racing back to its basics. So remember that the elapsed time and top speed that you'll be hearing throughout our show are important, but always keep in mind that it's man and machine versus man and machine. And the man who gets to the other end first, regardless of time and regardless of speed, is the winner. Now, the cars roll up to the starting line side by side here and wait for starter Buster Couch to activate the lights on the Christmas tree. When the light turns green, away they go, 1/4 mile to the finish. Getting off the line is all important, for each lane has its own timing device. Elapsed time, ET in drag racing parlance, is the clocking of the car from the start to the finish line. Top speed is recorded at the end of the run through a 1/40th of a mile track, which begins 66 feet before the finish line and ends 66 feet after the finish line. This is a top fuel dragster, the fastest and most highly sophisticated machine the sport has to offer. It often does the 1/4 mile from a standing start in less than 6 seconds. Now, let's take one of these 6-second rides in a top fueler, the first category we're concerned with today. Starter Buster Couch pulls the driver to the line. Then, the wait for the light begins. It's green, and down the chute he goes. Less than 6 seconds, engine putting out over 1,000 horsepower. At the finish, the chute is popped, and the run is over. A turn into the runoff lane, and preparations for the next run begin. Of course, if a driver leaves early, he red lights for an automatic disqualification. Matchups in the top fuel quarterfinals, Garlits against Myers, gets the winner of the Wolf Johnson run. Our lady friend Cha-Cha has top qualifier Gary Beck, the victor to go against the survivor of the Cap Richards go. Don Garlits comes to the line, the Babe Ruth of the sport. He was winning races when A.J. Foyt was driving midget cars and Richard Petty was a kid in the pits. But the one thing he has never done is win the NHRA World Championship, a season-long point battle of 8 major races and 5 lesser competitions, which may be his for the first time this year. His rival is a 28-year-old Louisville, Kentucky driver, Austin Myers, a former class champion in Top Gas. This category no longer exists. Trouble! The engine blows! Look at the parts fly! So Big Daddy has trouble with the engine in his fuel dragster. This could mean serious trouble in his quest for top honors in the Nationals today. Let's have another look at Garlits having trouble. Just past the finish line, something exploded on the engine. He kept it under control, and now we find that the supercharger has exploded and there are holes in the engine and oil is dripping out. The question now is, will he have time before the next round to make repairs?
So motor to bore, okay, fine.
Can you change engines in time, Don?
We don't know, Chris. We'll just have to give it a shot.
And so, a dramatic development here at Indianapolis with the explosion of a supercharger and the blowing of Don Garlits' engine. And on the track, oil from the hole in Don Garlits' engine. On the strip, the Utah Railroad engineer, Dan Richards, one of only 17 men to have cracked 5 seconds in this fast sport of drag racing, going against a 30-year-old Canadian from Edmonton, Alberta, Terry Capp. $309,000 in prize monies at stake here at the Nationals, with the big prize going to the man that wins in top fuel. Crowd, 50,000 people. The 4-day meet, more than 120,000 people. as they wait for the green. Tense moments here at the line. Richards in the far lane, Cap near it. And Richards is off to a bad start. He smoked his tires, allowing Cap to sweep down for the victory. Cap will meet the winner of the next round, an interesting pairing between a man and a woman. Cha-Cha Muldowney against world champion Gary Beck. Let's move over and have a word with these two. How'd the name Cha-Cha emerge?
Someone wrote it on my race car a long time ago as a joke in shoe polish, and it stuck, Chris.
Happy with it?
Yeah, it draws a lot of attention. The kids like it, and it's easy to remember. Muldowney's kind of long.
What's the little gold I see there that's new around your neck?
June Cochran gave it to me. It's a good luck charm, and I'm going to go out there and I'm going to win.
Gary, come on over here. Gary, you look at that person on your left as a woman or as a tough competitor, or both?
Well, certainly today, I certainly have to say a competitor. Shirley's run a 5-second run the first round, 5:99, and 6:01, I believe, in the second round, so we got our work cut out for us. No doubt she's a competitor.
Well, Shirley, you know that he's watching your times. He rattled them off like they were his own. How do you feel about going against the world champion?
Gary Beck's plenty tough, and if he gets by me this round, maybe I'll have to change the motor because I'm going to be out there trying.
Oh, the best of luck to the both of you. In a moment, the battle of the sexes. So our lady friend, Shirley Cha-Cha Muldowney, comes to the line. A big moment for this woman, 35 years old, who started a racing career back in Schenectady, New York, in stock cars. Her father worked on her first cars. He liked to see his daughter race. Her mother couldn't stand to watch. When she was burned in a funny car, her mother stopped coming to the races. Her opponent, world champion Gary Beck, and fastest qualifier, is a difficult rival. Because Shirley's time in her last round was fastest, she has lane choice, and she has picked what she hopes will be the fastest lane in this matchup. And Shirley edges ahead and wins it, beats the world champion as Beck drops back. A 6.01 run, and her crew is absolutely jubilant. Shirley makes it, beats Beck, and goes on in the round. Well, you did what you said you were going to do, Cha-Cha.
Maybe I broke the motor. I don't know.
Uh-oh.
No, there's no holes in her. I might have burned a couple pistons, but I got the crew to take care of it.
Okay, you got time? You happy about making it?
I think they'll give me time, Chris.
Okay, so Cha-Cha is on her way here at Indianapolis. Each round she has won, getting closer and closer to the top title. The next run, last of the quarterfinals, pits Hank Johnson from the Pacific Northwest. He's a 33-year-old Maryville, Washington driver who won the 1971 Top Fuel Super Nationals. His rival, a 32-year-old Pittsburgh bachelor, Ted Wolf. And the winner gets Don Garlett. Providing Don's car is ready. Garlett is back in the pits working frantically to get his machine ready. And if Garlett's car should not be ready, the winner of this run could ascend to the final. So it is very important for both of these men. The advantage as they head down the rod. And spinning your wheels in this business is more than an expression. It's defeat. So Ted Wolf, the Pittsburgh bachelor, gets Don Big Daddy Garlett in the semifinal. But Garlett's mechanical troubles are not behind him yet. He's working frantically in the pits to repair his car. Today could be a significant one for Garlett, for he has never won the World Championship, and victory today would be a big step in that direction. And should he win the World Championship, he's headed at retirement.
I don't see my little 7/16 socket. I don't see my little snap-on ratchet. I don't see... Turn it on again. Here.
If anyone can solve a mechanical problem, this master mechanic can. He revolutionized the face of drag racing with the advent of the first rear-engine dragster. For up until the early 1970s, the front-engine dragster was the standard of competition. Here's Don in a car of the late 60s, the engine directly in front of it. On March 8, 1970, Garlits suffered the worst racing accident of his career. His engine exploded in his lap. It cut the car in half and left him with half of a right foot. We talked with him about it earlier.
John, you had an accident that left you with really only one foot. Did that deter you from continuing in the sport?
No, a lot of people thought I'd quit, but I laid in the hospital for about 8 weeks with that foot healing because my other leg was broken in 3 places. And that's when I came up with the idea for the rear-engine dragster, which, as you well know now, completely dominates Top Fuel. And I vowed at that point that it was stupid for the drivers to sit back of those rear ends with their feet hung all over those clutches, and then the engine would blow up and fire would get all over the driver. And a lot of my good friends in drag racing that I'd come up with through the ranks had been killed. Mike Sorokin, the little Mulligan guy got it right here, you know, at Indianapolis. And all of those things just really stuck in my craw. And so that's why I came up with a rear-engine car. And I never once figured that I'd quit. I was mad about that because it was stupid. There I'd lost the biggest portion of my right foot for no reason, just for the lack of somebody just having the gumption to get out and engineer a better piece.
And so master mechanic Don Garlits was faced with another challenge, getting his car ready for the semifinals. He spoke of safety, and safety is a major concern of the sanctioning National Hot Rod Association in all of its drag racing categories. I'm sitting in the cockpit of Dave Condit's impeccably prepared funny car. The NHRA rules stipulate that certain points of stress must be made of special materials, so as a consequence, the car is made of the best materials available. The driver is encapsulated in a roll cage in the event the car should turn over. He's back in here and protected, held by safety harnesses. In the event of fire, these red knobs release the fire bottles for the extinguishers that are mounted up front on the car. Around the transmission is a can around the bell housing, and behind the transmission is a fiberglass blanket that contains any parts that might want to fly should that unit explode. Right here, in the event of a fire, the driver hits this and CO2 comes back, cooling him off. And then, in order to get stopped, 2 parachutes are mounted out back. The controls are mounted in the roof. He has the option of using 1 or 2. So safety in NHRA drag racing starts with the car. And out on the strip, a quarter of a mile past the finish line, about a half mile from the start line, is this fire buggy. You've heard of beach buggies and dune buggies. Well, this vehicle is especially equipped to handle emergencies on a drag strip. It contains 4 fire extinguishers, 3 CO2 and 1 dry powder, and a 54-gallon tank of water and a hose. Staffed by a crew of 3 trained men, it has a pry axe in case they have to chop their way into the wreckage. It has a sheet metal axe for the same reason. And in the back, standing at the ready with the engine running, is a man suited up in his fire suit. And in case the vehicle has to really hurry, it has its own wing. And 3/4 of a mile from the start and a half a mile from the finish is the last line of defense. A 70-foot wide chain link catch fence, metal, covered with plastic, designed to contain a car weighing 3,000 pounds going 150 miles an hour. It's necessary here because of possible brake failure or when a car's parachute burns off, as occasionally happens. And one thing a driver should not do is attempt to miss the fence and go for the hay bales. The reason a hay bale is a bad choice for a car without brakes is for behind the last one, the friction reel is mounted on an iron pole embedded in cement, devastating to the underpinning of a car that might hit it. So, in National Hot Rod Association drag racing, safety at the starting line, at the finish line, and in the runoff area of prime consideration. And now to another category, the exotic funny car. The semifinals matching Ray Beadle of Texas against John Lombardo of California. The winner to go against the top man of the Don Perdum Bob Pickett match. Ray Beadle of Texas comes to Indianapolis with high hopes of winning. He is the top qualifier. We've been following a lady in the top fuel category, Shirley Muldowney, the woman behind the wheel. Now, let's have a word with Mrs. Holly Beadle, the woman behind the man.
When your husband's car goes to the line, where do you station yourself? What do you do, and what goes through your mind?
When Raymond goes to the line, I'm in the truck. We have a tow truck that pulls the car to the line. I usually wait in the car. I just watch the car. I pray for him. And I worry a lot.
The funny car, the most exotic and the most dangerous in all the sport of drag racing. Why? For many reasons. Firstly, it is a fuel dragster with a short wheelbase. It's hard to keep straight. The engine is directly in front of the driver, the worst place. And because of the light plastic body, it makes it difficult in the event of an accident to get the driver out, and in the event of a fire, it tends to be burned. There's John Lombardo in the near lane. They're on the line, ready to go, and down they go. Lombardo smokes his tires, and Beetle takes another step towards being the funny car champion. By the way, the term funny car just happened. The car looked funny and handled funny, and the name stuck, and now it's an official category. And so Ray Beetle comes down the run, shuts his engine off to save it for the final round as a happy Holly Beetle gets in the truck with the crew to go down and meet their victorious man, Ray Beetle of Texas in the Blue Max Mustang. Wally Parks and his wife Barbara, the man who single-handedly has furthered the sport of drag racing more than any other in this country, president of the National Hot Rod Association. And now, it's two neighbors, two men from Granada Hills, California, in the next run. Don Purdom, the Snake, in his Army Monza, and Bob Pickett in his Grand Am sponsored by the Marines. You might say, inter-service rivalry. And Purdom is shooting for his third straight Nationals victory. No one has ever won a Nationals title 3 years running. Pickett's car was built by famous drag racing pioneer Mickey Thompson. He's chosen the Pontiac Grand Am body, while Purdom likes the Chevy Monza body shell. And Purdom is off to a fine start, leaving the Marine in the lurch, and it's the Army first across the line. Parachute out, and Don Purdom gets closer and closer towards winning a third straight U.S. Nationals Funny Car Championship. Will Don Garlits be ready for his semi-final run? We'll be back with that story, plus Cha-Cha Muldowney's quest for her first national title, and Don Purdom's try for 3 straight. But now, let's return to Jim McKay and Dick Button in Colorado Springs.
Going down the race.
Back at Indianapolis in the National Drag Racing Championships, and this is no ordinary housewife we're looking at. It's Shirley Cha-Cha Muldowney, an accomplished drag racer who's made it to the Top Fuel semifinals against Canadian Terry Cap. The other semifinal will pit Big Daddy Don Garlits, if he ever gets his engine troubles fixed, against Ted Wolfe. For those of you who weren't with us earlier, this is what happened to Garlits in his earlier round. He came down the strip, he won the run, and just as his car crossed the finish line, his engine exploded, setting up this frustrating long afternoon.
Looks like you're going to make it, Don.
It sure does, Chris. We've been working hard, and we've had a lot of help from our friends.
You'll be as good as you were before.
Yes, sir. This is the qualifying motor.
Drag racing has many categories. Remember, there are 1,200 cars entered in the competitions here. In other categories, in Superstock, Judy Lilly lost her chance to upstage Cha-Cha to become the first female champion in any category when she lost to Jack Mullins. In the competition eliminator category, Don Carlton of North Carolina outraced Tony Terenzio of Stamford, Connecticut. And in the stock eliminator, it was Don McElroy of Northville, Michigan, the winner over Mick Leiperman of Saline, Michigan. In the bikes, Joe Smith had it all to himself when T.C. Christensen wasn't ready. The modified eliminator crown went to Rick Barat of Noblesville, Indiana, beating Neil Marr. And in Pro Comp, Dale Armstrong of Torrance, California, beat Jed Coughlin of Columbus, Ohio. Most of these drivers will be headed next week for the World Finals at the Ontario Motor Speedway in Southern California. Well, all the cars don't make it to the finish line. Here's a wild one that happened during qualifying. It was in the top fuel category, and Dick LaHaye was in the right-hand lane. His car, for no apparent reason, just turned right across the lane, ticking his rival Jim Murphy of Milwaukee, going into the fence, turning over, and was broken in half. LaHaye suffered a broken left arm, and he had to be cut out of the cage that protects drivers from further injury. Here's another look. Down the track, and then, for unexplained reasons, it made a sharp right turn directly across the lane, ran over the parachute of his rival, and then checked the car before the car went into the fence and was destroyed. He also suffered internal injuries. In funny car qualifying, Earl Binns in the left lane started out, and a problem developed and a wheel came off. His car turned and went right across in front of Ron O'Donnell and tipped the guardrail on the far side of the track. He was uninjured and brought the car down the track to a safe halt. Here's his wife, Vicki. What were you thinking about when your husband's wheel came off?
I was scared to death. I didn't know what happened. I couldn't see anything.
Well, I saw the wheel come off, and I saw a lot of smoke, and then we had to get into the push car, and from then on I didn't see him until we got stopped at the end of the track.
Did you have a talk with him about getting out of this crazy business?
I had a talk with myself, and I said I'd never come again, but I'll be here next year.
There you have it. The semifinal matchup, some top fuel. Big Daddy Don Garlits against Ted Wolf, and our lady friend Cha-Cha Muldowney are going against Canadian Terry Cap. Garlits has made it. He has finished his work, and his engine is in the car. The question remains now, what kind of work has it been? Will it give the 1,000 horsepower plus necessary to win one of these top fuel eliminators? Remember that Garlits is going for his first world championship, a season-long points battle. And should he win that crown, he then hints of retirement. The king just might quit. We may never see Don Garlits in Indianapolis again. His rival, Ted Wolf, is optimistic.
Been looking forward to this for some time. Had him 3 times. We've had problems. I won him.
You got him. Big Daddy's on the line, ready to go. Been working very hard today. And Wolf in the near lane. This crucial semifinal round. The winner of this round will go to the finals. The question is, will Garlits' car handle? And Wolf smokes his tires and drops back and gives it away to Big Daddy, who makes it to the finals on this frustrating day here in Indianapolis. And so Don Garlits, the standard bearer of American drag racing, puts himself in the finals. He has been in 16 major event finals and lost only 3 times, having won on 13 occasions. And he comes around after all that work. His machine has done the job. Ted Wolf, the loser, is in back. His 3 previous national titles here came in 1964, 1967, and 1968. .589, Don. You feel like the pressure's off?
Yeah, we figured that the engine was dialed, but, you know, you never know on a quick change like that. But I was happy with it. I clicked it real early, try to save it because, you know, we got 1 more to go. And we want to do good if we possibly can.
Have you had many days like this in all the years you've been at it?
It's been a rough day, but it's been a very rewarding one. When the crew puts together a piece like that from scratch, a new injector, new port nozzles, everything fresh from the top up. Now, the engine was dialed from the bottom down. That was a qualifying engine, but the top is what makes it run. When the crew puts that together, it makes you kind of proud of your men.
Congratulations, Don. And here's our lady friend, Shirley Cha-Cha Muldowney. And the more than 50,000 fans that stands here at Indianapolis Raceway Park today have come to realize that it might be a woman that wins the U.S. National. For the first time, a female victory is possible in any major drag racing event. She got to the finals in Columbus after defeating Don Garlits in the semifinals, something he's never forgiven her for. He's in the run-out area now as an interested spectator for her run.
That was rewarding, wasn't it? That's new injectors, new ports, new everything. Right?
I don't think it hurt.
The men put it together right.
Look clean.
No, I'm sure it's okay. What's happened up there on the line? Oh, they're still...
And though he may have never forgiven her for beating him in Columbus, he's already paid her $500 as a bounty he put on Gary Beck. Beck was the man he was frightened of. He offered anyone $500 who could beat him, and Shirley put him away. Now, Shirley comes to the line with Terry Cap, a 30-year-old Canadian from Gary Beck's hometown of Edmonton, in this crucial semi-final run. The winner will go against Big Daddy, Don Garlits, in the final. The question now is whose engine is dialed in the best. That's dragster parlance for being just right for the circumstance. Shirley on the far lane, Cap on the near side. That's a perfect start. Shirley wins it, but her engine is smoking. 6.09, 218.4 miles an hour, but she's got trouble with the engine.
She blew it. She blew, but she got it. She got him, but she blew. We got a long way. We got plenty of time. She's in the final. The lady dragster driver is in the final. That's right.
What do you think about going against the gal?
Well, I owe her one from Columbus.
Well, she made it to the finals, Don, but look at all that smoke. Shirley, the smoke, what does it mean?
It means we probably burned a couple pistons, Chris. That's common. What are you going to do? The tires shook plenty hard on me, but I drove it through the shake and shifted it a tad early, and I think I saved the run.
What about going against Big Daddy in the final?
Oh, Well, all I can say is now it's the old man and the old lady. Let's see who's the better.
He says he owes you one from Columbus.
No. He owes me 3, because I got him after Columbus, too.
What a matchup in the finals. A woman trying to make history as the first of her sex to win a Nationals title, and Big Daddy Don Garlits perhaps going for his last. We'll be back with the Pro Stock and Funny Car finals in a minute. And the big crowd is picked up on Cha-Cha as this Cinderella rides her carriage back to the pit area amid 6 years of a throng of 50,000 in Indianapolis. And now for the Pro Stock final. Richie Zuhl's Camaro, Wayne Gap's four-door Maverick, going for top honors in this category. The Burnout, cleaning off the rear tires, heating him up to the proper racing temperature. Zuhl, a 28-year-old driver from Lindenhurst, Long Island, says in the New York City area he has to park his car in front of his house. Gap's four-door car has been very successful in this kind of racing. It's from Livonia, Michigan, the Auto Home. Now on the line and ready to go. For another title, Gap's 6th major triumph. Here it is. A wheel width makes the difference. Next up, the funny car. Ray Beadle, the fastest qualifier on the left. Don Prudhomme going for an unprecedented 3rd straight Nationals victory. The 20 years of Nationals here at Indianapolis, no one has ever been able to win 3 in a row. Beadle chose the left lane because of his faster time in the previous round. It may well be the faster of the 2 lanes. A bit ago, we talked with both drivers.
Thinking about 3 in a row and how no one's ever done it?
Yeah, that's all. You have to think about it. You don't like to think about it. It's just like, like Foyt shooting to win his 3rd or 4th or 5th one, whatever he's trying to do. It's something that's hard to do, but I'm kind of just thinking about the race, really, and I'm going to run him just like we had a little match race down at some drag strip someplace.
How much you think about yourself as compared to how much you think about Beadle?
Well, he's awfully good, but they've been known to make some mistakes, and what can I say? It's going to be the best man that wins out there.
Ray, your crew looks pretty confident.
They're all tired. They've got to work. Harry here's really got to work out this weekend. Him and Fred, the other one behind us. Everyone's worked hard for this race. It's really been a hard one for us, but it'll be worth it if we win.
What's Mama think about it?
I'm ready. Ready for the win.
What are you going to be doing during those few seconds he's on the run?
Watching and waiting and hoping.
Got a celebration plan?
Oh, we'll celebrate. If we win this one, we'll celebrate.
And here's Don Prudhomme, the man who wants to see to it there's no celebration in the Beadle camp this evening, bringing his car to the line. On the right-hand side, the body goes up, and this means trouble. What could it be on the blue Max? Remember, Prudhomme said that the Beadle crew have been known to make mistakes. Have they made one here? If they've made one, Prudhomme will go down the line uncontested for an easy victory, as we saw earlier in the bikes. They're bringing Prudhomme's car back as they're working on Beadle's machine. Prudhomme keeps his tires warm. Now the body is down, and they seem to be ready. This crucial moment, more than $9,000 will go to the winner of this funny car final. The question is the engine in Beadle's car up to it? Will it be a first ever for Ray Beadle, or will it be an unprecedented 3rd straight for Don Prudhomme, who's driving for not only himself, but the U.S. Army? Standing by. Very close. And Beadle surges ahead to dethrone Prudhomme. And the 3 straight jinx prevails here at Indianapolis Raceway Park. And is this Texas crew ever jubilant, running on their high-heel boots in the truck? And that celebration is definitely on tonight. Beadle had set a national record of 6.14 seconds in qualifying. For it to become official, he had to run within 1% of that time during the same event. Thus, a 6:20 or faster would make it official. And so he did.
Turn around. Congratulations.
Thank you.
You said you were going to do it, and you did. What problems did you have at the line?
Well, when I started backing up, I noticed it having a small oil leak, and I could just see the trail, and that kind of went across my tracks. And I didn't think Harry and them saw it, so I was trying to motion for them to see it.
They saw it. Here we go.
How'd you beat him?
We left first, and I think we set the record on that run. We backed up our 6:14 record.
Congratulations.
Beat him! 16. No way! You're doing so bad!
And so a 6-second run gives these people memories that will last for years. For Holly Beadle, her prayers are answered, and her day is done. The fans in the stands are wondering about Cha-Cha Muldowney and Don Garlits, but for Holly Beadle, it's a place to find solace with her thought.
Attaboy, Beadle!
Back with Cha-Cha and Big Daddy in a moment. The feature event, a matchup that few dream possible. In any event, in any sport, could there be a more unlikely pair of finalists for a national title than Big Daddy Don Garlits and Shirley Cha-Cha Muldowney? The contrast is great. Let's spend a few moments with them.
Well, Cha-Cha, how did it all begin?
I used to be a terror when I was about 15 years old, and I used to race on the streets with the fellas before they had a drag strip in upstate New York.
What'd your mom and dad think about all this?
They didn't like it, but they didn't know I was doing it. I used to go out and try and start my dad's car while he was sleeping. Drive it around the block, and that's really how I learned.
And how did you get into the professional end of it?
I used to work for a newspaper and worked at a restaurant, too. I just fooled around the small racetracks in New York and Maine, Massachusetts, and from there I just wanted to do it because I liked it. Not too many people wanted to accept me then, but I went professional 8 years ago when I got into the gas-powered dragsters.
Well, Don, you've seen it all as one of the pioneers in drag racing. For you, how did it all begin?
Well, for me, it began a long time ago in 1950, just a kid out of high school on a little hot rod Ford. And, you know, it's come from that, you know, racing on old abandoned airports to here at Indianapolis, probably the greatest race in drag racing.
Cha-Cha, what's been the turning point in your career?
I'd say when I met Connie Coletta. Conrad's a 3-time national winner. He's a very hard racer, sometimes hard on me, but that's what it takes. And man's done a lot for me, and I think that's really when everything good started to happen.
Well, there's Connie on the left with your crew, Cha-Cha. Do they mind working for a woman?
Oh, no, for sure. They don't mind, but they catch a lot of raspberries in the pits. The fellas ask them where their mini skirts are and all of this, but, you know, they don't let it get to them. They really don't. I have a job to do. When I go to that starting line, I try to do it the same all the time, and I have some, you know, a few weeks' pay that depend on me, so that's what it takes to get the job done.
Have you given any thought to what you might do when you retire from competition?
That's a question I can't answer, Chris, because, you know, what am I going to do when I don't do it anymore?
Don, we hear talks of your retirement. 42 years old, 25 years in the sport. World Championship perhaps in your grasp this year. If you were to win this weekend and win the World Championship, might you hang up your helmet?
It's a good possibility, Chris. I've been at it. I'm 43. I've been in racing 25 years. I've made a lot of money. I've had a lot of friends. I've had a lot of good times. My family is pressuring me, you know. They say, you know, you've been doing it a long time, and the chances are getting greater and greater that maybe you'll have a severe accident. I don't feel that I'll have an accident, but, you know, it's hard to keep going if you keep getting the pressure from home, you know. I got 2 daughters, 14 and 15, and if I win this World Championship and for NHRA, I've never competed in that. It would just about give me everything that's ever been offered in the sport. I've won it. And I tell you, I'm going to give it some serious thought, because like I say, I'm 43 years old. I'll be 44 before the next season starts, and I'm really going to think about it this winter.
Well, you got a big one coming up, Cha-Cha. I want to wish you luck.
Oh, out of sight. Yeah, this is the hardest one. The old man's plenty tough, but he's afraid of me. And I've got the bad lane because he turned faster ET, and we could shake the tires. So it's anybody's race. Like I said, it's 50% luck once you get to this point.
And for the Pink Lady, a win today could open up a whole new future. $20,000 in prize money, but more than that, $100,000 and more in annual endorsements. She would be the superstar of the sport of top fuel drag racing. For Big Daddy Don Garlits, victory today would be the other side of the coin, perhaps the entrance into retirement. After all, it's been since 1950 he has dominated this sport. Win today would put him close to the World Championship, and if he wins it, he said before, he might call it quits. And wins his 4th national triumph here at Indianapolis. 5.93 seconds, 242.58 miles an hour for the man from Sefner, Florida. The swamp rat, they call him down there. And the class show as Shirley Cha-Cha Baldowney fails in the final. Way to go. All right.
Wow, in front again, huh?
Yeah, looks like I did it again, Chris.
Well, you sure did, and congratulations, Don. Maybe that World Championship will come your way this year.
Well, I'm knocking on the door right now, that's for sure. That puts me about 1,100 points ahead of Beck. Did you hear the ET?
Yes, Don, it was 5.93. And while you're taking your jacket off, let's have another look. Shirley had the bad lane, and at the start, she spun wheels and lost traction. Don, did you feel any special pressure going into the final, she being a woman, and the World Championship coming up and possible retirement?
I've won the Nationals a lot of times and a lot of other races, and so that actually takes the pressure off of me. If I didn't win here this afternoon, I could say, well, I've won it 2 or 3 times. So, but somebody, you know, Shirley, you got to realize the pressure was really on her, because here she's got further in drag racing right now than any woman ever has. I mean, you know, runner-up, you got to understand that that's a fantastic thing. This is the U.S. National.
Shirley, come on over here.
Congratulations. Oh, man, this was only the U.S. Nationals, and, you know, all those guys, where are they?
I know that you just had it on kill, Dan.
Well, you know.
That's a compliment, too.
Right, I didn't trust you.
Never. Oh,
What do you think? Did I make the final decision? Did I make the right decision?
Ladies are disappointed they're supposed to cry.
Yeah, well, I'm not going to cry today because I'm happy today. How can I possibly cry?
Well, she put on a hell of a race. She had a bad lane. What the heck?
Well, you two guys gave us a great show. Congratulations to you both.
Thank you much.
Thanks, Don. It's a pleasure racing you.
Don gained 1,256 points in the complicated formula for each victory in each round of the meet. He now holds a 1,042-point lead over Beck in his quest for a first World Championship and possible retirement. Have we seen him at the Nationals for the last time? We asked his wife, Pat, earlier if she thought he'd retire.
He says that it may soon end.
I don't believe him.
You don't believe him?
No. He loves to race too much.
Remember to be with us tonight for NCAA college football as Ohio State and UCLA clash at 9 Eastern Time over most of these stations. The executive producer of ABC's Wide World of Sports is Roone Arledge. Coordinating producer Dennis Lewin, who produced the National Drag Racing Championships, which were directed by Lou Volpicelli. World Figure Skating Champions, produced by Doug Wilson in association with Candid Productions Incorporated, directed by Larry Camp. In Colorado Springs, our Associate Director Norm Samet, Technical Director John Allen. Join us for NFL football this Monday night, Dallas versus Detroit. Next Saturday, check your local listings for the exact time of ABC's Wide World of Sports in your area. Stay tuned now for the ABC Saturday News with Ted Koppel following immediately over most of these stations. Travel arrangements made through and a promotional fee paid by United Airlines, featuring bicentennial fare vacations to more of your land than any other airline. Come celebrate with United's bicentennial fare. Today.